Hi, let's take a look at the news that's revealed tonight. So we will start off with events that will be going on in Japan. So first off, we have the Vanguard overdress newcomer welcome meetup. So it'll be between 25th March to 31st March, which is the release week. So players can get one of the three start decks and join the event. So by joining the event, you get two of the power counter, which is made of plastic. Alright, so every player that joined the event will get two power counter, and if you play two games, you get one of the special PR pack, which will be given as the April and May shop tournament PR. Right, so there's no winner or loser. There's just new players having fun together. Right, so let's go for the next event, which will be the pre-release event. So selected shops in Japan will have a pre-release event 4 days prior to the actual release date. So each player can only buy up to 3 of the each type, so total of 9 start decks. Right, so this pre-release event. Next will be the prizes for the upcoming shop tournaments. So for the new standard, tournament price will be tournament price plus a nice fight price, which is the Alright, we'll start off with the order card, which is the key gimmick for this whole deck. So we have Galaxy Central Prison, Galactus. Right, so this is a set order prison. Right, so this will be our first order card that actually can get set on the field. So in order to play this card, you have to rest one of your unit. Next, when this card enters the order zone, you get a soul charge 3. Next, continuous when it's on the order zone, whenever your opponent may normal call rear guards onto the field, they may choose to pay and activate one of the following effect. So if they were to Soul Blast 1, they can choose one of their imprisoned unit, call it onto the rear guard circle. And if they choose to counter blast 1, they may call 2 imprisoned cards onto the rear guard circle. We will explain about the imprisoned portion later. Next, let's go for the grade 1. So we have the Aurora Battle Princess, Kia Knight Blue. So auto, when this card enters the Vanguard circle, search and reveal up to 1 prison card from deck, add it to your hand. Alright, since we have right deck now, so it's definitely right, and you get the prison card to your hand by default. Next, auto, when this card enters the rearguard circle, if one of more of your opponent's card is imprisoned, you can counter blast 1, soul blast 1 to draw 1. Right, so that's the grade 1. Next, let's take a look at the grade 2. Aurora Princess, reset ping. So when this unit enters the Vanguard circle, choose an opponent's card from your opponent choose one card from hand, imprison it onto your prison. Right, so you imprison an opponent's hand card. Next, continuous. If one or more of your opponent card is imprisoned, this unit get power plus 2k. Right, pretty simple. Next will be the ace unit, which is Aurora Battle Princess Seraph White. So grade 3, 13k with personal right. Continuous, during your turn, if one or more of your opponent card is imprisoned, this unit get power plus 10k. If there are 3 or more, in addition, you get draft plus 1. Right, and next, activate Vanguard Rearguard effect once per turn. Counter plus 1, choose 2 of your opponent's rearguard, and you may imprison them. Right, so let's take a look at how the deck works. Alright, I'll be explaining about the new mechanic and the gimmick for SD05. So first of all, we have a proxy for the new set order. Right, so set order will be placed in this area, which is where we previously have our G zone and also all our markers. Right, so as long as it stay here, the effect will be continuous. Right, next, let's go for grade 2 pink. So when this card enters the Vanguard circle, your opponent choose one card from hand and put it into your prison. So in the example where we are the first player, so right now my opponent is at grade 1, right? So he or she choose to give me a grade 3 like this. So we put it in the prison here. Alright, so the next turn when they are in grade 2, if they were to pay the cost, they can actually call the grade 3 onto the field. And of course the come to play effect will still activate. Right, so that's the example 1. Example 2, they were to give us an order card like this. Right, it will still go to the prison. Right, if they were to pay the cost to call this onto the rearguard circle, right, this card will go into the drop instead, which is the usual effect for order cards. And just like any other order card, you can only cast once per turn. And next turn, let's say I have another prison in my hand, I can actually set it, so I can set 2, right? But the effect will only activate once. And even if there's only one prison, I can put multiple units into that prison like this, like 3 or 4. The next case, if I were to choose an opponent's, I were to imprison an opponent's unit in overdress like this, right? So the moment they go into the prison, they'll be separated into 2 different units, like this, right? So if I were to choose an opponent's unit in overdress, I will get 2 units that is imprisoned right away. Right, so that's the basic ruling for prison and imprison. Let's go for the gameplay. So first of all, we write the grade 3. Right, next I can counterblast 1 to imprison 2 of my opponent's rear guard. Right, just put it like this. And this one's per turn for the unit. So in the case where I have another grade 3 in hand, I can call it, counterblast 1, and imprison another 2 units. Right, it's once per turn, to take note. So in the case where I have 3, so the first thing will be I'll have 10k for 1 or more. Next, I'll get drive plus 1 for having 3 or more. And next, let's call the grade 2. In the case where opponent have 1 or more, plus 2k. Grade 1, counter plus 1, soul plus 1. Alright, do remember that cards from the right deck, we're not going to drop, they'll go back to the right deck, which is next to your main deck, like this, to draw 1. Right, so this is a very simple deck, triple drive. Right, so that's the basic gimmick for SD05. Right, this is more for advanced player, and personally feel that this is actually a lot more balanced than lock, as your opponent do have a chance of abusing it, like in the case where they were to throw you a grade 3 at the start, right? So they can actually call it onto the field, and they actually can pay the cost to save themselves, unlike lock where it's pretty one-sided. Alright, and since the unit actually search for prison card, so there's a chance that we have actually different type of prison in the future. So let's look forward to it. And that's all from the SD05. And next week, due to some personal reason, I won't be able to do this video. So it will still be posted on the blog, so do check it out. It may be a bit slower than usual, but we'll get back to the usual schedule 2 weeks later. Right, so see you.